Are you tired of procrastinating every time you want to do something that's really important to you? In this video, I'm going to show you 4 things that you can do in order to overcome that procrastination so that you can reach your goal. And first of all, know that you're not alone in this. This happens to everyone whenever they set a goal for something that's very important. And just realize that the resistance that you're feeling is coming from within you. It's not coming from your family or from your boss, although it may seem like it is. It's actually coming from within you. And the first step is to realize that you are hesitating. Now you may say, I know when I'm hesitating, but think about it. When you're in the thick of things, you don't always know what you're thinking and what you're feeling. So be very aware of what you're thinking and what you're feeling, especially any of those negative things. And this happened to me last week. I wanted to put together a new product, and I found myself hesitating. And I really wanted to get it going. And what I realized is that I could use something called holistic releasing that I've learned from the Sedona method. And with holistic releasing, it's like taking a negative number and then the opposite positive number, let's say -1, +1. When you add those together, they make 0. And that will get you to the 0 point where you can actually start taking action, where the resistance will be all gone. So I thought to myself, I don't want to spend time on this project. But then the polar opposite was, I do want to spend time on this project. I don't want to spend time on this project. I do want to spend time on this project. And I just kept going back and forth until I felt that the resistance was gone. And then I was able to move ahead. I started taking the first steps last week, and I've been working on the project all week long. And another thing to do is to visualize what it'll look like when you reach that goal. So a common thing to do is to visualize maybe celebrating. You'll be out maybe at a restaurant with family and friends celebrating. What will you see? What will you hear? What will you feel? Get all your senses involved. As people are congratulating you, the champagne glasses are clinking, the waiter brings your food, it tastes so delicious. The more you get your senses involved, the quicker you're going to realize that goal. And also, visualize the steps that you have to take. See yourself taking action. And you may say, I don't know what steps to take. Well, find a model. There's plenty of stuff online for whatever field you're in or for whatever goal you need the action steps for. You can find a lot of them right here on YouTube. So just see those action steps. Those steps may, with an initial plan, those steps may change, and that's okay. But just visualize the steps that you're going to have to take in order to reach that goal. And if you need some help with visualizing, I think that you might enjoy the free ebook I've created, 5 Steps to Create Inner Peace and Calm Your Soul. If you'd like access to that, just comment inner peace below the video here, and I'd be glad to send you the link. So to take the visualization a little bit deeper, you can do mental rehearsing. And this is very popular in sports and with the performing arts. And I actually used this when I was a high school student, and I wanted to learn how to play tennis. And what I did was I went to take a tennis class. It was a community class for tennis. And I learned the forehand and the backhand and the serve. And then I went home and I practiced. I was a high school kid. I was just practicing on the garage door. And I would practice, and my body got used to what I needed to do, and my mind got used to how I had to gauge how the ball was coming in and all that. And after practicing every day, I would go and visualize. I would just mentally see myself taking those steps. I never saw myself competing. I never saw myself bowling at the net. But to this day, I've got perfect ground strokes because of all that work I did 50 years ago. And it's just, it's like a personal virtual reality. So just go through and figure out the steps that you need to take and see yourself taking those steps. And you'll see it will just work into really something that you can really use in order to go and reach your goal. The next thing is to have a journal and put in that journal after your workday or before you go to sleep every night, 5 wins that you've had. And they don't have to be just for business or career. They could be for relationships or for health, personal growth. And write down those wins. Because if you come to a point where you don't feel like you're moving on your goal, at least you'll have a whole journal of things that you have accomplished. And they'll help you, that energy will help you to move forward. Along with, write down any struggles that you've had. And more importantly, the insights that you've had to those struggles. And again, that energy will help you to propel forward in moving towards your goal. There's never any failure. They're just successes and insight to moving forward. And I'd like to leave you with a bonus step. It's involving something called EFT, or emotional freedom techniques. I'm a certified EFT practitioner. Sometimes EFT is called tapping. And a few years ago, when our son was in middle school, I was supposed to complete a document. It was like an essay that I had to submit. And I really didn't want to do it. But I had just learned how to do EFT. And I figured, well, let's see how this works. So what I did was I went through and tapped on the standard points for an EFT round, while thinking of all the reasons why I didn't want to do this, all the resistance that I had to doing it. And maybe I did it for 2 or 3 rounds until I felt like I didn't have any more resistance to it. I went through and tapped after that, visualizing myself taking the action. I took a little tiny baby step that I knew I had to take to begin the process. And I just went through and visualized taking that step. And right after doing that tapping round, I took action on that baby step. And then it just snowballed. I started taking this action and that action, all the steps I needed to do in order to complete the document. And I finished it and I submitted it to the school by the end of the afternoon. So if you'd like more information on EFT, I've created another video, EFT for beginners, and you can find that right here. So there's no reason to just stay in procrastination. If this is something that's really important to you, I've given you 4 steps plus the EFT that you can take in order to take action, make it happen. And once you do reach that goal, leave a comment below letting us know what happened.